Joining us on the centre stage face-off tonight, I want to begin by introducing national spokesperson for the BJP, Nirmala Sitharaman. Joining us in our studios, also with us, Shazia Ilmi from the Aam Aadmi Party, Dr. Abhishek Manu Singhvi, senior leader of the Congress Party, Veer Sanghvi, one of India's foremost political commentators, and one of the best anthropologists we have, Shiv Vishwanathan, social scientist nomad. I want to ask Shazia Ilmi first. Given the expectations that Arvind Kejriwal built up, people would say that what's happening still in Delhi is a disappointment, because it was thought that AAP has a fear factor, that because Kejriwal is in power, because you're in power, Babus would behave themselves. That's clearly not happening. So it's easier to promise utopia than to deliver on it. Shazia.
Yes, Rahul, I got your story. I got your story, I read your tagline, and I must tell you that by virtue of being in power, one would not wish corruption away, especially public graft. We talked about Citizens Charter, which would have addressed this problem as part of Jan Lokpal or Lokpal. A lot of people have a problem with us using the word Lokpal. So because it's not been done yet, no, let me finish, Rahul, because if you've missed the story. It was us during the whole movement that we said that people, individuals can't make a difference. It's systemic changes, which is why the whole battle, the whole galvanization of the movement was behind Lokpal bill, which included Citizens Charter, time-bound delivery of goods and services, and public redressal. This has not been done, this has not been set up. Simply having Arvind Kejriwal as the Chief Minister would not sort out this rampant corruption.
Okay, I want to bring in Nirmala Sitharaman, because you're saying Citizens Charter and the Lokayut hasn't yet been implemented, and therefore you can't hold this against Kejriwal and the Chief Minister. They're saying we need more time, 9 days is too little to try and hold Kejriwal responsible for what's still happening. Ms. Sitharaman.
Rahul, there's one more thing I want to say.
Every political party...
I would like to say one more thing.
Just give me a moment, I'm coming back to you, Shazia. Yes, Ms.
Every political party, especially now that the country has rightly got onto this platform of, do something immediately so that there's, some relief from rampant corruption. Every political party tries to do its best. And state governments, where you saw in Uttarakhand, we started off with what was very close to Jan Lokpal.
Yes.
And General Kanduri at that time had spent a lot of time not just on the Lok Adalat, but also on many other things which go to strengthen the Lok Adalat. So political parties, particularly I can speak for the BJP, are putting their best effort in order that this issue of corruption, which is big ticket down to the lowest level which affects the common man, are addressed and addressed systematically. But where the difficulty starts is when expectations are built up as though somebody can come with a magic wand and remove it. Now, I'm not saying these were the very exact words used, but the imagery that was built up, saying all other political parties are all completely corrupt and they don't have an intention to deal with it, and it is we who are going to come with some kind of a solution which will be immediately changing the environment. I think that is something which I would like to discuss and question, because that's not the way to
not the way
build the expectation, and now the common citizen are going to wonder.
As well. I want to bring in Dr. Singhvi, because Kejriwal said within 48 hours there will be an anti-corruption helpline. It's been 9 days since he took over. That anti-corruption helpline still isn't around. Is this nitpicking, Dr. Singhvi, or would you agree with Nirmala Sitharaman that the imagery that they built, that they've got a magic wand and they would weed out corruption, and other parties weren't serious on corruption, parties especially such as yourself, this operation shows that even if you're in power, it doesn't mean that you can wish away corruption? Dr. Singhvi.
Well, Rahul, first of all, welcome to the real world as far as the Aam Aadmi Party is concerned. This is the real world, and Mr. Arvind Kejriwal and his people will soon realize that it's a different world than a utopian form of idealism. That, however, is not to say that I am going to hold them accountable in 9 days or even perhaps 19 days. That would be unfair. But there's a simple question. Some of these things are so structurally embedded that unless you become less on slogan or shibboleth, more on concrete measures, this sting operation you've done today, you could as well do after 9 months. Then what will be the answer? Not 9 days or 19 days, but 9 weeks and 9 months. So therefore, it is obvious that this thing could as well have been done after 9 weeks and 9 months. Does the AAP party have any answer to that? The answer can only be that yes, humility, that we'll work together and we will create all those structures which will take out this scourge. But the reality has to be contended with. It is not to do with mere political parties who have been in alternative governance earlier. It's not to do with people who've been there before you only. It is something embedded in our system where you have to have innovative and old methodologies, including of course files slowly being put, everything on website, RTI being used differently, concrete penalties, use the Jan Lokpal which you're talking about the state level, but let's see. So I think this is the valuable part of the lesson you learn when you get into governance.
Shazia
This is why
Ilmi.
you must be in governance. That is the difference between agitation and governance.